The Witcher. Not quite the same as the video game, but still very fun. So before I explain the rules, we're going to pick our characters, get our first quest cards, because I want to explain the rules before you guys choose which quest you're going to keep. Excuse me. So let's roll off and see who goes first. 2. That's unfortunate.
4.
Roll 6.
Come on, 6.
14, you broke it.
I did.
16.
Alright, so you go first.
Alright.
You have
16.
choices. You have Triss Marigold, the caster. Rivia. Geralt of Rivia, who's basically the Witcher. He's the combat guy who does the potions. Yarpen, who is also a warrior, and does combat by different means. He doesn't use potions and stuff, he uses allies. And you have Dandelion, the bard, who basically makes money. And money can help you in quests, just as much as anything else, but
Well,
he does other things too. But.
I think I'm going to do Angry Older Lena inverse. So.
Alright, here's her figure. We'll put her in her starting place in a moment. These are your development cards. This is her specific die. We have basic combat dice, but this is the one that is Triss specific.
Okay.
This is going to be for side quests, and these are your action tokens.
Oh, pretty.
And it says, I think, 2 each in the game for... But we always had 3, didn't we? Did we play it with 3 last time? 8 action tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have more action tokens than we should. So we should only be using 2 of those. I think you can get a 3rd one using your abilities, but typically we're going to be doing 2 actions per turn. So Ashley, you get to pick. Do you want to play Yarpen again? We also get extra health, too.
I think I want to be Dandelion.
So we're making good money with Dandelion. Oh, these are yours. Here is Dandelion's die. Was that my phone that did that?
I think it was mine.
I just want to make sure I'm not getting a call, just in case. You never know. If it's a weekend call, I always get worried. Development cards and the figure. And the little teeny side quest token. I want Geralt or Yarpen. I sucked at Geralt last time, so I almost want to do it again to see if I can be better. Yeah, I am going to play Geralt. Unfortunately, none of our characters are going to show because I zoomed into the board so folks could read these locations. But we'll tell people what we're doing as we do it. Remember, we'll be only using 2 of these 3 tokens. Alright, so here's this little side questy thing. Remember, Yarpen, those Stein cards get flipped up in front of you. They don't get shuffled. Here's some action tokens for you. A die. And a little mini Yarpen. Little baby Yarp.
Yep.
So you're going to want to shuffle up your development deck real quick. Granted, none of you have played these characters before, so it might not matter, but in the interest of good luck and fair fortune with your characters, shuffle the crappy cards to the bottom if you can.
I'll get right on that.
And the other thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to have Ian hand out our starting gold. So it should show right on the bottom. You should have starting location and starting gold. Starting location, if you notice, each of these locations has a label. And these little circles are the actual spaces in which we'll be placing the characters. So I start in Kaer Morhen, which is over there somewhere. Oh, way the hell up there. Can you just stick my dude in one of those little circles? He's in
I'm
Makon.
going to put him in the farthest one, just because.
Because you're
I'm
awful.
always, since I'm the banker, I'm going to give myself money first.
That's fine.
So 5 there, and I start in Wizima.
I think that
Why, Zima? Why?
It's right there, yep.
Alright, and how much money do you get? Oh, 1.
He
gold
starts out
for
with
you.
1, but he'll be richer than us.
Probably.
soon. I start with
Ah.
3.
3 gold for Geralt. Alright. And 1 for each of the dwarves that you have to pay for.
And she starts with 3 up there, unless she's putting one on each of them.
Oxenfurt.
Oh, do they each get one
Put
too?
me over there.
Not that I know of.
She
Oh, I
was
see.
just say, she was
Okay.
I just
Can you put me in
Oxenfurt?
Ollie, Ollie, Oxenfurt.
We have a pretty cool show house in Oxenfurt. Okay. The next thing we're going to do, if you notice on the bottom of your character card, you've got a symbol that shows what your successes look like on your dice, which are super hard to read, but you'll notice that's for certain skills that you're going to be using. And then you also have a quest deck. This is the deck where you pull most of your quests. There are 2 types of decks, other than the development decks that we just received. On the side where Ian is, we've got the quest decks. On this side are the investigation decks. So we're going to start with the quest decks. And what you're going to do is, you typically, when you pull a quest, it's going to be of your type. There are certain ways in which you can obtain quests for other types. But there are typically areas in which you are typically strong in. So for you, you would be pulling from magic. You're going to take 2 of those magic cards.
Those are the purple ones?
That is the blue. Yeah, purple is diplomacy.
So 1.
And you can flip them up in front of you. We don't keep them secret from each other because we'll be helping each other complete some of these quests.
Nice. So,
And then, but don't pick one yet. I'm going to explain the rules. Then you're going to pick one, and then we're going to each go around and read the top part of our quest for the lovely flavor text. And then if you complete the quest, you read the rest of the text.
Perfect.
So for Ashley, I think hers are diplomacy. Are yours purple, your quests? They're super tiny. So she needs 2 purples. I need 2 red. And I think you get to pick either or.
Yes, I have purple and red.
So you can choose one of each if you want to look at each type, or you can choose 2
One of
from a type. Alright, let me move these out of the way because we're going to need these for other stuff.
Can I just say how amusing I think it is that the dwarf gets diplomacy quests?
Well, some dwarves could be diplomatic. Yarpen was, actually. Yarpen stopped a lot of fights. He either fought in the fights, or was pretty good at talking people down.
So you get 3 attack dice?
Geralt has extra combat dice. I think he has to use potions for them, but he can use them.
Cool.
And then also, these are the general combat dice that everybody gets.
Cool.
Put them right there, actually. Okay, so we've got our starting stuff, and now we're going to learn how to play this game. The first thing I want to talk about is the quest cards. They look like so. There's a lot of text. You've got your starting kind of text here. This top area is what you're going to need to complete the quest. The middle area is the support quest. That's something other people can help you do. And then you have side quests. And then on the bottom is the consequences of completing the main quest. Points are up here. And then there's points on the bottom for doing side quests and or having folks help you with the support quests. So I just wanted to show what the card looked like. But we're going to be doing kind of some different things with them. So the top part is your title of your quest, your flavor text. Your main quest is what you need to complete it. So most often you need to go to a location and bring some quote-unquote proof. And I will show you how to obtain that and what that means. But that's what those little symbols are on the top here. The location is where you need to go to complete the quest. And some of them will have a fight, like mine has an enemy, so I have to fight it. If I fail it, the combat, there's kind of a certain consequence. And if I fail against defense, there's another consequence. If you have a combat on your main quest, and you fail that combat, you still complete the quest. You just have to try to complete the combat as well. And then you'll read your consequences. There's the side quests are usually also have locations and or tasks to do. If you complete the main quest before the side quest cannot be done, but you do have the option if you want to complete, sometimes depending on the timing of everything, you may want to do that or you may not want to. But if you complete your side quests first, you'll get those bonus points from them, and then you can go to your main quest. Same thing with support. Support quest, it kind of tells you, and you're going to tell people what your support quests are when you read it. And you'll also mark them on some banners, and I'll explain what that means in just a bit. But on the bottom, it's going to say what you need. So, for example, one of my support quests needs 3 of the purple tokens. So these, 3 of these. And if you have 3 of those, and you're in the same space as a person who has that side quest, so if you're in the same space as me, and you have 3 purple tokens, you can turn in the quest, because you're completing the side quest for me. You get 6 points, I get 3. And then we will take one of these. That's why each of us have 5 of these common markers, and you'll just mark that it was done so nobody else can come up and do it. So it's first come, first serve for side quests.
So,
yes?
just as a side note, can you support yourself if you have the right thing, or does it have to be someone else?
It has to be someone else. Someone else does the support quest for you. It earns you some points, but it also earns them some points.
Okay.
You can try to complete your quest before they have a chance to do the side quest, the support quest, which is not a bad idea, because it gets them a lot of points. But depending on what you need to do, in some cases it's nice to have, or you can, you might offer to like stay put so they can catch you if they give you some tokens or something, because we can trade with each other, so we can use support quests and the points therein as a way to negotiate with people. when you complete a quest, you flip it over, and it just counts in your pool. We're trying to complete, I forgot how many, but it's I'll look at that for the winning game, but whoever completes a certain number of quests first is the winner of the game. So it's very simple. So you just flip it over to keep track, and also so that folks know to not try to do those quests anymore. And then you'll pull a new one, and the same thing, you'll read it, you'll explain what your support quest is, and continue to try to complete it. Excuse me. You're going to have, you're always going to be first playing, so it's not going to pass like in some games. And, you know, each turn, you're going to use these action tokens, and we only use 2 of them a turn. We have a third one, I'm not sure why, but you're only supposed to use 2. And you're going to mark it. If you notice on your character, you've got these 2 like little thingies. We're going to mark which one you do. So say I want to travel. I want to mark travel, which means during my turn I can only travel once because I've marked it. And then if I also want to brew, make some potions, I can do that. So I'm going to mark it at the end of my turn. When I've done all of that, I will take these tokens off. So each action can only be completed once per turn. There are some things that might allow you to do more, but typically it's once per turn.
Okay.
And what the actions are is travel, which is on the first, and it tells you right here. But I'm going to explain it so that folks who may be watching who haven't played this before will know what we're doing. So travel allows you to do is you can move to gain leads. That's what these little tokens are. So, for example, with my support quest, you need 3 purple leads. These are called leads, and those tokens that I gave to you are called proof. You gather leads to obtain proof, and that's how you complete your quests. So you're going to be walking around a lot. You always move along the path of these yellow lines. And if you notice, some of these require money. So if I want to go from Sintra to Den Canal, I need to pay 1 gold. If I want to go from Den Canal along the waterways to go up to Novigrad, I need to spend 2 gold. Now I can go by land, which takes longer. So because it's a shorter route, it's cheaper. It's more expensive, I mean. The longer routes, of course, are cheaper.
Okay.
Now, typically when you travel, you move one path, one region. So if Triss wanted to go, say, to Dwen Canal, she has to stop in Brookalon. Or you can travel too, but if you do, you deal with fate. So you can travel up to 2. 1 typically, but you can risk fate and travel 2. If you travel 2, you resolve everything, and then you draw 1 foul fate card, which is the skull card at the top, and you resolve that card. Nothing good happens from foul fate. However, sometimes, as was the case with me when I played, when you draw foul fate, it can mess with other people as opposed to you. You can run away from it and leave it behind for others to deal with. So there is risk. There's risk of making people hate you. There's risk of you taking damage, combat. All sorts of things can happen. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is you can investigate, and that gives you different types of encounters, sometimes fights, sometimes diplomacy checks. What you're going to do is you're going to draw any 1 card from any 1 investigation deck. So you don't have to pick, like with quest, you're going to pick your specific quest type. With investigation, you're not going to. You pick whatever you want. You can choose combat. Bear in mind, you're probably going to resolve a fight. You can choose diplomacy, or you can choose magic, and you pick one of those cards and you resolve it. And so, and when you travel, when you go to a location, you're going to receive a lead token based on that location. I'm going to explain what that means real quick. If Yarpin travels from Mahakam to Maribor, he will gain 1 purple lead token. Okay? That's what this symbol means. If it's just 1 color, you get 1. If he, however, went to Wyzima, he can choose either a purple or a blue, so diplomacy or magic.
Okay.
If you go here where they're circled like this, you get 1 of each.
Okay.
You'll get a purple and a red. I think this might be the only space that's like that. Yeah. Everything else is either or just 1 thing. Oh, if you go up to Tretagor, you get to pick what color you take. You only get 1, but you pick what color you want. And it's the same thing with Novigrad. But in Sintra, you get a combat and a diplomacy.
Okay.
So
in
that's how
Barcelona,
you
you
get
get nothing.
Yeah, you get nothing at all because it's basically a swamp village with this weird witch. So you don't get much. So bear in mind, it's the same thing with Jaruga, which I think is just a mill. Yeah.
Yep.
Now some of them, if you notice, have hearts, and we'll
Yes,
explain
I see.
what that means. You heal when you go there. But typically, when you stop, you're just getting the tokens. So that's a reward for traveling. That's how you get those tokens, and you're going to need a lot of them in this game. But you don't automatically heal when you go to these places, so I'll explain that in a sec. So when you investigate, you draw one of the cards of any of the decks, and you resolve it. Sometimes it might ask you to keep it, otherwise we're just going to discard it on this side of the board.
Okay.
And investigations can give you a lot of good bonuses. They're risky, but they're worth it. So that's what investigation is. Or you can develop, and when you develop, you only use your own development deck. That's what these little mini decks are. And you're going to draw 2 cards. You're going to look at them, you're going to pick one, and you're going to discard the other one.
Okay.
And that lets you, excuse me, that lets you essentially level your character up. So you can develop your character early on if you want to and be a little bit more powerful than others. It's up to you. You can rest, and when you do rest, you can treat your wounds. You can either treat 2 minor wound tokens, which basically removes them, or you can remove 1 severe token. So if you look at the health tokens, which look like this, they're super tiny hearts. That's a minor. That is a major or severe wound. I'm going to explain how you gain these wounds and why it would be considered severe and what they do to you in a bit. But that's how you get rid of them. You rest. You can either remove 2 of these or 1 of these.
Okay.
Where did I put them? There we go. The other thing I can do is I can brew. That's one of the things I can do that lets me make some potions. And it's very much like Triss preparing cards. So for you and I can brew, you can prepare. We're going to take one of these little common tokens that we have. I'm thinking, you're Triss. I'm sorry, Ian's Triss. You'll be doing something similar, but in a different way. You'll take a common token and put it on your spell. That prepares your spell so you can use it. It's the same thing with me. You don't get to just use the spells. I don't get to just use my potions.
Right.
You prepare them first, and then you can use them later.
Okay.
And then when you use them, you take the common tokens off. You can prepare them multiple times. So if you haven't run into an issue where you need them, but you really want to have them, you can spend one of your actions to add multiple common tokens. Sing. Dandelion can sing an elaborate tale of his travels and earn a few coins. So all he does is take 2 gold from the supply when he sings. He just gets money.
La la la.
And you don't want to put those wounds there, Ashley, because that means you're severely wounded.
Oh,
That's how you track your health. Empty is good. Hearts on top is bad. And then command, what Yarpin can do is you should have another guy. There should be a 4th guy. There should be 4 brew tokens. There should be 4. Of those 4, when you choose command as your action, you choose 2 of your companions and you use them and resolve their effects. You can mark them with common tokens just so that you remembered that you used them, but you don't have to. There's no requirement for it. You just use them that one turn. And they don't have to be the same people every turn. So it's kind of neat because you get to pick what's most useful to you at the time. Those are our skills. And then there's also those are our actions, not our skills. Those are our actions. The other thing that we can do are known as operations, and these are actions that do not require us to spend one of our action tokens.
Okay.
And what those are is you can exchange leads for proof. So remember, these are leads. We're going to gain these, but we need the proof to complete the quest. So for example, this quest, I need 2 combat proof.
Yeah.
I have none. On the bottom, or near the bottom of your character card, it should show you what you need for each type. So for me, I need 3 combat leads for 1 combat proof. Anytime during my turn, in between actions, during an action, whenever, I can choose to discard, back to the pool, 3 combat leads, and I will get 1 combat proof. I need 5 magic leads for 1 magic proof, and apparently, because I'm not diplomatic at all, I need 7 diplomatic leads to get 1 diplomatic proof. I will never be doing those quests ever. But that's how you exchange. So that's one of the things you can do. You can complete a side quest. So if you are at a location or you have the ability to complete the task, sometimes just go to a location that completes the task. It will tell you. You can do that in between actions. That is not considered an action where you need to spend a disc. If you meet the requirement, you just finish it. Completing a support quest, same thing. Doesn't require an action token. You just need to be in the same space as another player. So you might need to spend an action to move to them, but once you're there, you just spend your stuff and you get the points and they get their points. And completing a main quest is the same exact thing. You spend your required resources and you complete your main quest. If it has an enemy encounter, you will fight that battle against the enemy, but regardless of the outcome, you're going to complete the quest. Once you've completed a main quest, you're going to draw 2 new main quests, do the same thing. Pick one and discard the other. You can also trade resources, which does not require an action. So you can trade leads or gold with any hero in your current location. You can negotiate the terms of the trade, but you have to agree to them before trading. So you can't kind of... Dandelion, however, can also bribe a friend. That's one thing that he can do that other people can't. He spends 1 gold to place 1 common marker on one of his face-up friend development cards. So when he starts developing, he's going to get... It's almost like brewing and preparing and that kind of thing, but it's a free action for you. Mm-hmm. So when you get a friend, you can add a common token to him so you can use that friend. You're essentially calling in favors. And then the other thing we have to deal with in this game, and it's not really an action, but actions will lead to it, is we're going to encounter obstacles. There's a total of 6 spaces for obstacles. And if you notice, they are color coordinated. So I want to talk about regions for a quick second. Regions are also color coordinated. This is a region. So these areas fall within, Sintra, Daruga, and Maribor are all yellow. If I land on one of these locations and there is a combat token here, I'm going to have to encounter it. So right now we've got them in the top. So in the purple area, where Elander, that place that I can't pronounce, and Dole something Blananza.
Dole Blakana.
Yeah, that's right. That's an area where you're going to have to encounter that thing. Novigrad and Oxenford. If you start there, you're fine. If you move into an area that has it. So because you're in Oxenford at the start of your turn, you're fine. You hadn't moved there. It's as you're traveling, you may encounter animals.
Right, but for example, if I went from Wazima to Wanford, I would still have to do the encounter, right? Or is it only if you move into the region itself, not
if you move into any area that has the colored label.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So, for example, if you went from Wazima to Oxenford, yes, you would have to encounter, unless someone else already had and beat it.
Right.
If it's empty, you don't encounter shit.
Yeah.
But if it's not empty, then you have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we have the kind of the gray area, these 3 places, purple and red. Have stuff. Eventually, everything will.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll also have these Foul Fate tokens floating around out there, too. And when those are out there, if that's there, you encounter cards, even if you don't move twice. So, it's fun. So, essentially, they're in what are known as obstacle zones. And there are places to put Foul Fate tokens here, actually, is where they go. Only 1 Foul Fate token can occupy a Foul Fate space. An obstacle zone can have both types of obstacles at the same time. So sometimes it'll look like this. And so if you move into a yellow place, you're going to draw a Foul Fate card. And then that goes away.
If there's one of these up here, then you draw both.
Yes. If one of these are here, you deal with the monster first, and then you fight the token. Or you draw the card. I think. Let's double check. After you perform your 2 actions, so you don't have to fight when you move there. You fight after you do your actions. Mm-hmm. So after you do your 2 actions, you encounter 1 obstacle in your region. Oh, so even if you stay in place, you're going to have to deal with it. Sorry, I was wrong. So to encounter an obstacle, you check the obstacle zone. And you choose 1 obstacle to encounter. So you choose either or. You can choose to mess with fate if there's a Foul Fate token there, or you can mess with a possible combat. Yeah, if there are no obstacles in the region, you advance the war track. And that's what that kind of pentagram is up there. And it's going to go clockwise. Yes. So things will happen based on whether or not there's something already out. If you choose to encounter the Foul Fate card, so let's say we had something like this down here. And she stays in Mahakam. Whoever's there, you are. So that stays in Mahakam. And she chooses not to encounter this. She wants to encounter the Foul Fate. The token goes away. You do discard it. Only 1 draw will happen. And the next time if somebody wants to do something in a green area, they have to encounter this. So to encounter the monster token, you flip it over and you fight the battle. If there are multiple monsters in the region, you choose which one to encounter. And the reason why that's important is right now we have bronze monsters out. Those are the weakest. Silver are more challenging and gold are really, really hard. Mm-hmm. So if you see 2 bronze and a gold, if you have the ability, like maybe you have a bunch of stuff out, you're like, I could totally beat a gold, I'm going to give it a try, because there's good rewards for beating monsters. Mm-hmm. But if you're like, I am a bard, I'm going to not fight the gold thing, I'm going to leave that and fight the silver thing. You can choose that. You don't get to flip them and look, but you do the thing.
Okay.
When you encounter an enemy, you fight against it immediately. And so they sometimes appear on investigation cards. They appear on file fate cards fairly often. These tokens that we have on the board, and some of your quests. So there's lots of ways where you're going to end up kind of fighting. The first thing you're going to do is look to see if there's any before rolling effects. It'll be listed on the quest card and or token if it's a monster token. And you have to resolve that first. Then you're going to roll the battle dice along with your hero die. So if it was Beth, she would roll her yellow dice plus these 3 dice. And they have like defense and combat results and also nothing. So you can also modify your results in the following way. So let's say I did this. I'm just going to roll 1. I've got 2 combat, some wacky thing that I don't know what it does because I haven't played Geralt in a while, and a defense. Mm-hmm. So, I think that means a success for me. Yep, that means a success. So if I was rolling, I guess that would not even apply to combat because it's not a combat thing. It's a success. You can spend 1... I'll leave one of your dice for a second because I don't think mine have it. Let me see. Maybe they do. Oh, they do. Your dice sometimes have what looks like a little shield. Nobody's going to be able to read this on this. Oh, maybe you can. It's actually not as dark as I thought. It's a little shield with an arrow pointing to the right. Mm-hmm. Let's say I rolled that. And I didn't roll that success. That means nothing to combat. If I rolled that, I can actually spend that die and 1 combat die to produce a defense. So essentially I would just change that to a defense. So I have 2 defense and 1 combat. If I had no chance at winning, but I was going to take a bunch of damage, that's the way to do it, so that you can save yourself. Does that make sense? I can also use a development card that says I can use it during battle. And I can use a good fortune card, which are those white cards. You can get those from investigations and stuff and quest successes. If it says you can use that during battle, you do that as well. Now you compare your total swords against the enemy's sword stat. So for example, on my quest, I have a 4 versus a 3. So if we look at my original result, this was my original result. I had 2 swords and a shield. So in this case, I'd be matching 2 swords against 4. If the number is equal or greater, then your attack is successful and you resolve the successful quote-unquote sword effect. If the number is less than your sword stat, then you are failed and you resolve the failed stat that's on the card. Then you compare your total shield against the enemy's shield stat. If the number of shields is equal to or greater than the enemy's shield stat, the hero's defense is successful and you resolve the successful shield effect. Conversely, if the number of shields is less than the shield stat, then you resolve the failed shield. So if you notice they have, this one is just nothing for success, you just succeeded. But for me, I have failed for shield, failed for this. And it tells you what your 2 horrible things could be if you fail both of those things. So it's possible you could succeed in 2 ways or fail in 2 ways. If the enemy is a monster and your attack was successful, the monster is defeated. They don't have health. If you're just successful, you win. And that token is discarded. If you didn't defeat the monster, he stays face up on that zone, so people can see what the stats are for that one. And then you've got your different die results. You've got the shield, which obviously is compared against their defense. You've got your combat, which is compared against their combat. That weird shield arrow thing, which produces one of those. And then there's also, I don't know if it's on here, or if it's on our characters. Our characters, I think, have it. There should be one that has a combat and a shield, and that produces 1 of each. I don't have them. Geralt doesn't get those.
Yeah, I don't get shields.
But some of them have. It looks like it's like a sword inside of a shield, and it's somebody has it.
You mean this?
Yes, thank you. Maybe you're the only one who has it. For this one, you get 1 combat and 2 shields, just for that result.
Wow.
It might just be Arpin who gets it. Oh, it's yellow. It is.
That would make sense though, because basically it's all of his minions helping with the fight technically.
Yeah. Yep. And then if I roll a Witcher sign, that's a success for me. So that means I guess I can pick. Now you can suffer 2 different types of wounds: minor or major or severe. And you can't die, but you can only sustain a limited number of wounds. So if you look, you can see your action spaces show you how many woundable action spaces you have. Yarpin has 2 extra, which means you can actually be wounded twice before you even start losing actions.
Oh.
So what's going to happen, and unfortunately I can't show folks, but I'll at least put it on the table, so up here. So these are actions. And what'll happen is what you do is you take the number of wound tokens. Let's say I was going to suffer 2, right? 2 regulars. I put them in any available space. I get to pick which actions I mess with. So those actions are now affected, in a sense, by my minor wounds. While the wound token occupies that space, I cannot place an action token there because there's a wound there. So I can't take those actions. And then, there's different ways that you can remove wounds. You can have the rest action, which I blocked off, but let's pretend I didn't. we'll say I don't brew. I can take a rest action, which would allow me to remove both of those because you can remove 2 minor wounds.
Yep.
If there's some cards that let you rest, and also if you move into an area that has rest, that lets you remove 1 wound.
Okay.
1 minor wound. And then I want to say there's other bad things that can happen. This is where you can put foul fate tokens. So there may be instances where it tells you to gain a foul fate token, and you would pick. So I put that there. So if I want to take investigate, I have to resolve a foul fate card to do it.
Okay.
And I think it will tell me how to get rid of those.
I assume you just have to resolve it.
I
Or
think
is there another way to
I
get
think
rid
there
of
might be an additional way, but I just want to real quick. To win the game, you just complete 3 quests. Sounds like a small thing, but it's actually pretty big. And each other player takes 1 more turn after you complete your 3rd quest, which allows them to potentially catch up to you and gain some more VP. And then we're going to look at our VP and see who won, because this track's going to be going the whole time. Now, excuse me. Trying to think if some will say on your development cards, for example, will say spend 1 common token, which will look like a star when it says that, and that's what these are. That's where brewing and preparing comes into play. If it doesn't say that, you can just use it. If it does say that, you must prepare it before you can use it.
Okay.
The support chart, which is up there, we're going to talk about that real quick. We haven't placed them yet because we haven't chosen our quests.
Someone has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Snake Awesome. Rumors say that the Devil's Maw holds a king's ransom in gold, but you must give up your soul to claim it. A price even pirates hesitate to pay. That's got to be a quote from the game that I'm not catching, and he's gonna totally steal my geek cred because I'm not remembering it. No. As soon as the delay hits and he hears that, he's gonna be like, loser, you must put this game away. So if you notice your support, like for me, if I chose this quest, my support's gonna be purple. If I chose this one, it's gonna be blue. And it tells you, it helps you show what your current support quest is. So they can see at a glance how to complete your quest without running around. And when you get a new quest, you move a hero token. So if, for example, I chose this quest, this little guy is going to go on purple. So you guys will know that to help Geralt, might as well put it there for now because I'll move it to blue if I have to. But you want to put it just kind of, we're going to be on the same tracks. We're going to move around on that track. So you'll know you need that type of icon to even, so if you have none of that, don't even bother. But if you have a couple, you'd be like, hey, how many of those do I need to help you? That is the war track. Kind of keeps track of the turmoil caused by the Nilfgaardians, which is who we're kind of opposing in this. And it throws some obstacles out there. Now, if we have to advance the track, some effects will force us to, in addition to there not being anything out here, there will be cards that will tell us to do it, and the foul fate will tell us to do it. You move the common marker clockwise 1 space, and then you take the obstacle shown in that space, and you place it in the zone of your current region. So if, for example, I were to move the track, it shows I need to place a bronze token. I need to place it in my region, which there already is one, so I'm going to stick it on top. There's going to be more than one, which again lets you pick which ones you do. It's 2 bronzes, so no big deal, but that's how you do that. And then we've already talked about the tasks. Good fortune cards are essentially benefits that you get. Oh, if you become delayed, essentially we're supposed to lay our character down, but all of our characters are going to be laid down, so we're going to do the opposite. We're going to stand them up. So if you become delayed, you forfeit your next action. It doesn't, you don't lose your whole turn, but you lay your hero figure to the side. So we're going to stand ours up, and the next time you perform an action, you stand up instead, so we'll lie down instead. So it basically wastes one of your action tokens.
Opposite day.
Opposite. And then We already did how to place the monster. And then Foul Fate. To place it in a region, we already know how to do that. We place that in the matching region on this side. And if it tells you to suffer a Foul Fate, you place it in any open space, just like as if you were suffering a wound. And then if you perform an action that has a Foul Fate token on it, you discard the token and you resolve the card. And that's it. If you have to suffer a wound and all of your woundable action spaces are occupied, that never happens, but you lose 2 victory points. Yeah. Yup. And then if a effect specifically tells you to place a Foul Fate token in a region that already has one, you place it on your hero sheet instead. So if it says place it in green and there's already one there, you place it on your own character. Yeah, that's fun.
How you get them. Okay.
Yes.
At least one of the ways.
Yeah. So real quick, take a look at your quest and decide which one you want to take and do. Whoops, I just shot
Already decided.
Me too.
I was originally going to do this one because it was appropriate to our D&D game, because it's flesh to stone.
Actually, mine is too. Well, to Aaron's because of alcohol and Trogdor.
But, so do they just go underneath?
They just go to a discard. So yep.
Yeah. So I just,
you can put them on the bottom if you want to.
Makes sense.
So I can do the Citizens of YS, which is Yeath. Wow, that's a hard battle. I'm gonna pick the easier battle. This probably has better rewards though. 12 points.
Yeah, I put back a 12.
I'm gonna keep the 8.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So mine's gonna stay on purple, and then what's your support? Oh, that's gonna go on the bottom.
Are we gonna describe her, or are we gonna do that?
We
after
are.
Everyone picks.
Yep, we just want everybody to pick first.
That makes sense.
And that's away from keyboard at the moment. So
She's AFK.
she's AFK.
Technically, she's always AFK because the keyboard's over there.
That's a good point.
Lol.
Well, she's got her keyboard right there.
That's a good point. In that case, Ashley's never AFK.
True.
Adam was like,
No fair.
"Oh, great, you got a new smartphone," and I was like, "Oh yeah, and the battery lasts a lot longer." He's like, "Awesome, more ways to ignore me."
All right. So what's your support quest though, Ashley? What color?
Quest?
Bottom right corner of your quest.
Oh, it's the money one.
Okay. So yellow, basically. So you want to take your
you'll
little
do the next
icon?
one.
Nope.
Oh.
And then toss that up there, or have Ian put it up there for you.
Yeah, I can put it right next to me.
Yellow.
So doesn't matter
money.
what order, right?
How many money do you need?
I need 3. I don't know how many she needs.
3.
3.
Well. You're far away from me, though. I'm far away from everybody.
Yeah.
You're all kind of like, yay, let's hang out in here. And I'm like, la, 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 elves.
Right. You're like, I'm going to the sea. See what I see on the sea.
Well, might as well read our quest while we're waiting for Beth.
Sure.
She's the last player anyway, so.
So, I'll go ahead and start since I'm first player.
Yep.
So, my quest is Accursed Jewelry. You have discovered that a lady in waiting at the Sintra court has been sent a string of cursed amber beads. Who knows what terrible things might happen should she wear them? And yeah, so I'm going to need to have some magic quests to find the messenger carrying the jewel case and disenchant the beads. And my side quests are to go to Mahakam to acquire a substitute necklace, and also to learn the messenger's exact route by spending 4 purple leads.
Nice. Don't read the consequences yet. That's
no.
for if you've passed.
Yep.
And then your support is 3 money.
And then the support is things would be a lot easier if someone would just buy the messenger off. Spend 3.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right.
What's bad is it doesn't actually make it any easier. It's just,
It's true.
in theory, it would be.
And what is yours?
I have the Belton Accords. Am I saying that right? Belton?
I think so.
Belton, a night of springtime revelry, an ideal occasion for talks between Redanian and Nilfgaardian diplomats. Now, if they would only go easy on the wine and the resulting insults. My main quest is in Vingerberg. I need 2 of these creepy looking things.
Yep, that is diplomacy
Diplomacy.
proof.
Okay. Organize the meeting and keep the diplomats focused.
Such geometry.
And then side quest, learn who hates whom. Learn who hates whom so you can plot the seating chart. Spend 4 purple. And then 2 is find the most effective magic for keeping people sober. 3 blue. And then support is maybe someone could pick up some supplies for the festivities. Spend 3 money.
Okay. Mine is the road of no return. The ancient forests of the West have always hidden more than their share of dangers, but certainly a renegade mage has summoned a foul creature and is using it to attack travelers. So my main quest...
It's not me.
It's not you. I have to go to Duin Canal and kill the renegade mage. And he's a toughie. Okay. And then for my side quest, I have to forge a magic sword for my battle, which means I have to go to Mahakam and I just get one. And then my other side quest is learn some counter magic. Spend 4 blue leads to learn the counter magic. And my support is 3 diplomacy leads.
Mine is a princely jewel. The Prince of Nazar is asking about his family diamonds, which seem to have been misplaced.
He's lost his family jewels.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The princess confides in you that she gave them to her lover from the north and pleads for your aid.
That's awkward.
Yeah.
Yep,
Just a bit.
she stole her husband's
His
family jewels and gave them
to
away.
her friend.
Yep. So my main quest is to go to Elendar and get the diamonds back before the prince realizes what happens. Which, yeah, sadly I need magic and diplomacy. My side quest is to acquire some replacement diamonds to dissuade suspicion for a time. And to frame somebody at court for the theft of the jewelry as a backup plan.
Nice.
My support quest,
It's money. Everybody wants money.
of
God,
course,
you
is
freaking hogs.
someone could buy back the diamonds from the con artist who seduced the princess for...
Is it 3 money?
For 3
I'm assuming?
money.
Okay.
Yep.
Sheesh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody wants money.
Yeah.
I should have
Everybody.
kept my other quest.
For real. Why would you, have you ever done money too?
No, mine is money, but the one I was going to pick would have been magic. It's just I figured I was probably the only one that's going to be pulling these for a while, but not realizing at the time how you get the lead, so it's not that weird for other people to get them.
Yeah. I just think it's funny that everybody wants money, but me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
typical.
No,
Geralt never gets money.
the other one
Yeah.
wouldn't have been. The other one would have been actually diplomacy leads, but it had less points.
Yeah. Good point. All right, Ian, you get to go first.
Okay, so since one of my side quests is to go to Mahakam to acquire a substitute necklace, I'll go ahead and do that as my first action. So
Okay.
I will travel to Mahakam.
He will get a combat lead, please.
So I do get a combat lead. I will also...
That is the
Okay,
common
okay,
token. It
that's
looks like a
that's
star.
That's what I
like-
thought, but it didn't look like
It
that.
doesn't look at all like the
I just
token.
wanted to make sure.
The thing I like about this game is it's kind of a simple game, but it's designed by the same guy who did Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah. So, doing a support quest is a free thing or no?
The side quest, you just go there. In a lot, it'll tell you exactly what you have to do. So if it says go to Mahakam, you did.
So right, so with this, I'm talking about support quest.
Oh, support quest it doesn't require an action. You just spend the tokens.
Okay.
Whoever you're doing it for. So if you're with Yarpin, it would be Yarpin. She's going to mark that it's been done.
Yeah.
And you each will get points based on what her points are listed are for that.
So what the hell? There you go.
Okay, so you're.
Well,
That
those
goes to the
aren't
back.
yours,
It goes
those
to
I
are
know,
mine,
but I'm
yeah.
just thinking. So you
So
just
I'm-
bought back some diamonds from a con artist,
Yep.
and with a support quest, it's a 3/6.
Nice. So you get 3, I get 6.
Assuming.
No, yes.
Or is it-
Yes.
Yeah. The parentheses is what the supporting person gets, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So cool. And then my second action will be. I will draw 2 of my development cards.
Do some developments.
And I have to pick
Pick
one and then get rid of the other one, right? So.
Yes.
Spend 1 card to produce 1 victory. When you play this card, once per round, you may spend 1. Oh. So yeah. I guess I'm gonna ditch that one, or take that one and ditch this one for now.
Okay.
Because it's useful. And do I just put the one I don't use on the bottom? I'm assuming?
Yeah, they say discard it. Honestly, doesn't matter. You'll get to it again and eventually.
Yeah. So I do start by placing a thing on it, which is cool.
Nice.
I can prep more if I need to. But once per battle, I can spend that preparation to add a offense and a defense.
Cool.
For combat. So, and cool. So that's my turn.
Now you would encounter your space, but there's nothing there, so the war track must move.
This way?
Yep.
Okay, so now there's...
The bronze goes here.